When looking at these fraction problems, similar to the book scenario, you are either given information about the entire set, the whole, and you're finding a piece, or you're given information about the piece and you're trying to find the entire set. Our numerator and our denominator are going to give us consistent, specific information about this. The numerator always represents the piece of the set, and the denominator always represents the whole or total of the set. And as long as we keep this in mind, it will really help us solve these problems and use the numerator and denominator effectively. In this problem, Mr. Ehrmann had 18 books, and what is 2/3 of the set of books that we saw earlier, we were given information about the entire set, the whole 18 books, and trying to find a piece of that set, 2/3. So, we're going to take our number given, 18, and look at 2/3. We're going to keep in mind that the 2 represents the piece of the set that we're trying to find out, and the 18 represents the 3, the whole or total amount of the set. We're always going to divide first. Think back to the problem you just saw. I took my 18 books and split it into 3 groups because the 18 is represented by the 3. And we had 6 books in each pile. Then I was able to take 2 of those piles to give me a total of 12 books. So we divide first, and we divide the number we're given by the part of the fraction that represents that number. And then we multiply that answer by the other part of the fraction. Testing. In another example problem, Stephen had 30 pieces of chocolate. He gave 1/5 of them away. How much does he give away? So, again, we are given information about the whole set. He has 30 pieces, and he gave away 1/5. That 1/5 is a piece. So, our 30 is the whole. Going to write our fraction. We will keep in mind that the 30 is the whole and represented by the 5 in the denominator. So first we need to take these 30 pieces of candy and split them into 5 equal groups. So there are 6 in each group. Then it says that Stephen gave away 1 of those groups. So he gave away 6 pieces of candy. Remember, we divide first, and we're dividing by the part of the fraction that the number represents. 30 is the whole, which is the denominator, so we divide by the denominator. And then we multiply by the part of the fraction that we did not use yet. In this practice problem, Mr. Ehrmann has 4 books, which is 2/5 of the original whole set. What was the original set? This was the example that we saw in the video with me. And in this case, we are given a piece and we're trying to find the entire set. I can easily see that by looking at pieces of the problem. It tells us that 4 books is 2/5. It's not the entire set. And it also says what was the original set. We're looking for the whole. So those are our clues that we're actually starting with a piece. So I'm still going to write the number given. And I'm going to write my fraction. And we're going to keep in mind what our fraction represents. And in this case, the 4 is not represented in the denominator. It's not the whole. It is the 2 in the numerator. So I'm still going to divide, but I'm going to divide by the numerator because the 4 is the piece and it represents the numerator. I get 2 for my answer, and then we multiply second, and we multiply by the denominator. This 2 that we found here is 1/5 of the set, and I need to multiply by 5 to get all 5/5 of the set, which tells me that 10 is the original whole set. So remember that we are following the same sequence of operations: division, then multiply. But we divide by the numerator because the 4 is the piece, and we divide by the part of the fraction that it represents. In our last example, Sally has 12 dolls of a collection. She really wants the whole set. She has 3/5 of the collection. How many are in the whole set? We are given the piece, and we're finding the whole. What were the clues that told us we were given the piece? Hopefully, you saw a few of them. She has 3/5, so she doesn't have the whole thing. And how many are in the whole set? We're finding the whole set. So I write down my important number and my fraction, reminding myself that the 3/5, the 3 is the piece, the 5 is the whole or the total. In this case, we are given a piece, so the 12 is represented by the numerator. So my first operation is division, and I divide by the numerator, which tells me that 4 is 1/5 of the set. So to get all 5/5, I can multiply by 5 and find 20 as the whole set of dolls. So this may have seemed a little bit confusing for you, but like I said, we are going to try many different methods until we find the one that clicks for you.